Oh, okay, we do happen to have the game 2. So we are going back to our backup feature match, but it looks like we're playing it at 1.5 times speed because there's only going to be so much left on the round. Welcome all the new raiders from Doomwake's stream. I hope you have a good time. If you just tune in, make sure you type the words drip in chat, because drip, we are doing a giveaway for 2 Bruxian all-be-one collector's boosters after this game. So make sure you type drip to be in with a chance of that. And if you do want to be in with a chance of winning a Guy's Cradle, you didn't hear me wrong, a Guy's Cradle, physical Guy's Cradle. Again, type exclamation mark drip in chat to get all the details for that one as we move into this game where we've got Alan Swan versus Alex Rubin, Temur Rhinos versus Jeskai Breach. And it looks like Rhinos are just entering the battlefield. We're all caught up here. Skewer, talk to me about Alan's side. He looks like he's got an E on 0, ready to blow. He knew these Rhinos were coming down. Does he want to blow it now, or is he waiting until next turn when potentially that other crushing fields is coming down?
Oh, if he can afford to wait, he absolutely wants to wait because he has no way of recurring it right now. And Rhinos do hit very, very hard. So now, because they don't have haste when they come offline, so you can comfortably just do your thing this turn, pass, and just pop E on upkeep, or even hold it even longer, but you don't want to tie up your own 2 mana for too long. So this E is going to come in very, very clutch.
Is there anything Alex could have to maybe, like, prevent this upkeep explosion? Maybe like, I don't know, a Brazen Borrower end of turn, something along those lines?
Well, so Brazen Borrower's Petty Theft is 1, Force of Vigor is 2, Prismari Command is 3, which is plenty of options. But as we can see, we've got neither, and Emery will start looping E's, which, well, sounds very difficult to beat for Alex if there is no like Dead Gone or something.
Yeah, I was about to say that seems pretty backbreaking, really, to loop a card which costs 0 mana against basically the namesake of your deck, which is making generic tokens, which are 4/4s. As we see the play that you spoke about here, Alan was just returning this E back to the battlefield again after Alex then spent so much time trying to get those big 4/4s on the battlefield. Looks like we're gonna equip the Ledger Shredder here with the spear, make it a flying bird with a spear? You've seen crazier things in Magic the Gathering, I'm sure. And that's going to be game 2. We're going to go to a game 3 of them. For people just tuning in, welcome. My name is Will Hall, better known on the internet as the Will Hall EXP. And I'm joined by Skura, better known on the internet as Islands in Front. And we are bringing you round 12 of the SCG Charlotte Modern 20K. After this round, there is one more round to go before a cut to top 12, where they'll all be battling out to see who will take away the more prize money and the trophies, and just the generic tweet saying, I won SCG Charlotte and I won the 20K. Alan taking a nice little mulligan here. How does this deck mulligan? Well or pretty bad?
It does mulligan well, but one of the reasons is that all the cards are really good. Like, if I told you there could be a deck with Urza's Saga, Underworld Breach, Ragavan, Ledger Shredder, and Holy Heat, Expressive Iteration, you would think, well, yeah, those are the best cards in Modern. What about them? And this is the deck that plays all of them. Beautiful harmony. So it does mulligan pretty well.
And we're going to see now as he's going to set that dice up for us, letting us all know that he is going to go down to 6. That is right for people in chat, just asking about the top 12. It is top 12, not the traditional top 8 that you normally see. What will happen is seeds 1 to 4 will all be getting a bye in that top 12, and seeds 5 to 12 will battle it out 4 games. They'll see who wins those games will advance to then battle seeds 1 to 4, and then we'll have a traditional kind of top 8 that you normally see in Magic the Gathering. Alex is going to start off with a Wood of Fiddles there. Alan looking at his hand. With all these cheap interactions, potentially could just split the whole hand out straight away. And yes, this interaction comes up. It always comes up in Modern. Talk to me about it, Skura. Why are we baubles before playing our first land drop? Skura is not there. He's managed to mute himself.
Yes.
There you go.
Mute myself, I did, yes. So what you do is you bubble yourself to see what is on the top, because you can fetch that. Fetch, shuffle your library, and then not keep that top card, which potentially you didn't want. Now, this trick only works if you have a fetch land and a non-fetch land, because if you only have fetch lands it doesn't really make sense to look. At which case, you would just play Bobble, pass, let Alex resolve his fetch, and then look at his top to see what they will be drawing.
We normally see this from Temur Rhinos, right? The first thing they search up is the Triumph, give themselves access to all 3 colors mana that they need, as he's going to pass down the second card. Obviously, all the spells in their deck are meant to be under the CMC of 3 because of the Cascade spell, but there's a few exceptions to that. How do they get around this weird interaction in these Cascade decks? We saw Living End last round, but this one being Temur Rhinos. Very similar, but a few different cards, and especially how they play out. Also, how do we get around this interaction of having to make sure our cards cost 3 MC or more as one of them gets cast?
Yeah, so normally we actually play cards. So we play cards that do not break this rule. So they technically cost 3 or more, but we don't play them for 3 or more. So for example, Fire Ice is a split card that has a mana cost of 4, but the rules on that have kept changing. And you can cast either half for 2 mana. So you're casting a 2 mana spell, but it's technically a 4 mana spell, hence fulfilling the condition. You've got pitch elementals, which cost, for example, 3 or 4. But you can play them for free, which again circumvents the restrictions. So the whole deck meets the condition, but you play half a dozen or a dozen of cards that actually can be played for 0 mana.
And they differ slightly, right, from what we saw in the last game with Living End. You see a few more Brazen Borrowers in these lists, and Bone Crusher Giants, as opposed to what we see in the Living End deck is just a lot of cycling cards to go through, because the cycling enables the Cascade spells to be better. In this deck, we're always going to hit the same spell with our Cascade spells, so we can kind of fill up our extra card slots in our 60, 75 card deck with things like Bone Crushers, Brazen Borrowers, etc. Ways to interact with our opponent. Maybe they have some hate pieces, etc. But it looks like Alex might have missed his 3rd land drop.
Oh, that's huge!
That's real
as you
big.
can imagine, in this deck, the 3rd turn, the 3rd land drop is absolutely key. Now, thankfully, there is going to be ice, probably tapping a land. It doesn't have to be on the upkeep. It can be after Alan, for example, has already passed, holding up a single blue. There are also, I think, multiple forces of negation. So Alex, while not doing his own thing, he's sure that nothing bad is happening.
Okay, we're going to see what's happening here. We're going to start just playing one of the generics. So this tells me it's the combo version, right? Because it's playing this card?
Yes, yeah. Grinding Station is a combo card, and Alan is also missing his land drop. Now, he could still win on the next turn. I mean, technically, of course he won't, because Alex has got Force of Negation, but Alex is, I think, again missing his land drop. So we've got both players missing land drops. We'll see who comes out of it first.
I wonder who this favors. Who's more inclined? At least Alan can start casting spells. When I'm having to start ditching my Crouching Foothills, I don't feel too great on Alex's side here.
Yeah, and also Alex's interaction is a self 2-for-1 because of those forces. So while yes, 2-for-1ing yourself prevents you from cleaning up, it's still a 2-for-1, right? So and Alan's deck, so Explosive Iteration. Do you fawn it? If you do, it was just a pure 2-for-1, right? And we still don't know if Alan has drawn a land, because he may have, which would be even more devastating for Alex. So there is a fawn pitching Shardless. Okay, interesting.
I was going to talk about you can sit on this Force Negation or to the end of time if you want to, but while your opponent's casting things like Iteration, that it just doesn't feel good. Do we fire it off? And obviously we did, and then we hit our 3rd land drop that we've been dying to try and hit off the top of our deck. Didn't get a good look at the hand. I don't know if we've got another force in there. I don't know if this is worth, if we've got a safe turn to tap out now and try and get some pressure on the battlefield with the 8 power 4/4 Rhinos.
I think I would, because you're getting under potential Fluster or Spell Pierce, which those decks play. And if you're afraid of Engineered Explosives, you've got Force of Negation, right? So I think you can very safely tap out. You've got Fawn for whatever could go wrong. And honestly, I really like Alex's position here.
Is there Fawn? That's why I said I didn't know if they had Fawn left in their hand or not. We're going to have a little look at this, and I like this. We're tapping out in our main phase. Yeah, we're casting an instant at sorcery speed, but we're trying to play around with potential things like Flusterstorm, Spell Pierce, etc. I like that.
Yeah, and it's a literal turn to clock whilst having Force of Negation. So this is a big strength of this deck. So so in theory, the shields are down, but in practice, they are absolutely not.
So we did both players seeing their third land drops. Maybe it's a couple of turns too late than they would want, but both managed to find them nonetheless. Alan is going to fetch up. How many basics do we generally play in these decks?
In those Jeskai decks, we play Island and a Mountain, and it's usually it. I really, really, really doubt you would ever see more than 2 basics.
We're going to fetch, we're going to shock. So we are going to drop ourselves down to 13. See if the players update that. They do. Thank you very much, Alan. And an EE is coming down. So this is that force check. We don't think we've got a blue card to ditch for it. It looks like it resolves. And this is what I'll do. Like, were we safe to tap out then or not?
Oh, so because I knew there was a Force of Negation, but I didn't know there was no blue card. Okay, that's huge. Yeah, that's absolutely huge because now there is EE and Emery going. I mean, this is okay. Now I'm not surprised why Alex was considering keeping the mana up. And well, I said, okay, as you know, we can see the pattern. I said Alex might be winning here, and now he's not. So I guess I should just keep my mouth shut or something.
And more importantly for Alex there, he did manage to take care of that Emery, so we can't just keep looping these E's from the graveyard, because we saw that in game 2 and Alex was not able to get back from underneath that. Now going back to Alan. Still got one half of this combo in play. He might be thinking maybe he can resolve a breach or something like that now. Obviously, we know on the other side there is a Force Negation that could be hard cast. But Alan, he checked last turn with that EE and it didn't get counted by a force. So, the odds of Alex having a force without blue card, he's got to consider that. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. We'll see. And I'm trying to see what he's got in his hand. Well, maybe a new confess a hand cam here and have a little look.
Oh my god, that's huge.
That's it. That's just safety there, right? Like,
and Alex let it resolve. I think he may have like Force of Vigor. Okay, just Monkey. And I think
it might be a Force of Vigor. I think Force of Vigor. I think you're correct, and that gives him 2 targets to hit. But then, this Monkey's a problem. Alan just doing everything. That's kind of with this Jeskai deck how it's so powerful, right? I'm just going to play things on the battlefield, and they're going to do things, but nothing crazy. And when you answer them, I'm then going to. That's my opportunity while you've got the shields down to combo off and get the combo win, which. You said he's okay. We're endurance end of turn.
That's good. That's good. Also, the Force of Vigor is good. It's not great because first of all, grinding station could easily be in the graveyard. That's not an issue. Second of all, you can always grinding station sack EE to mill 3 to replenish a graveyard. And third, Alex would have to spend his entire turn on killing EE plus station while there are no rhinos anyway. So. It's an okay situation, but it's by no means great.
Okay, Alan.
There is a breach in hand. There is a breach in hand.
I think he might have drawn an iteration for the turn there as well. We'll see how he's going to play this. He's got very good cards on the battlefield. He's only like a card, 2 cards away from going off, I suppose, if he can set that up. But he does have to think Alan's got 5 mana untapped on the other side of the battlefield. The fairy would fall in hand.
And it has to eat a fawn, yeah. The fairy would be huge because it would turn off rhinos, draw a card, and get rid of the endurance to get in with Ragavan. So the issue for Alan is that he's playing a single spell a turn, and the issue for Alex is that he's playing a single spell a turn. So in this dynamic, they're both playing at the same pace. But they both would rather multi-spell.
I think that's a fire and ice off the top there, plus the force that you were speaking about. Didn't get a good look at the third drop there, but Alex needs to start turning things sideways. He needs to start turning this corner. You can't give Alan all the time in the world, or Alan will just be able to combo off.
Yeah, so technically, I think so both of these decks are kind of combo control because both play interaction and both have a combo finish and a combo-esque finish. Now we've got Saga coming down, and importantly, Saga cannot find explosives on 0.
Yeah, it's got to cost 0 or 1, not XX, right? Or
Yeah,
X,
like an
any X cards.
actual 0 and an actual 1 has to be in the right top corner.
It looks like Dragana is just going to go to hand. And now we're going to see a forced end of turn.
Yeah, so now that's a much better conversion, and exactly the thing I said happens. So you're going to cash in that EE for 3 cards, which is Teferi, Breeding Pool, Shadow Spear. But now, with Endurance having been cast already, and Force having been cast already, and Breach in hand for Alan, we might be seeing a combo very soon. And I am already mentally prepared to explain the loop.
You're all over it. I think there's another green card in hand. That might be another Endurance. There might be another Endurance in hand for Alex here. Let's see how he wants to go about this. 4 mana. He's going to tap 2 of it.
What's interesting is that technically it is possible to combo off in such a way that it wins through Endurance, but it requires multiple pieces, and we do not know if Alan has them. But basically, it comes down to you having like some additional zeros in hand to replenish right after Endurance.
So
because Breach stays in the field.
Fire is going to take out the Ragavan, 1 to phase, and then we're attacking for 3. And now it looks like that green card might just be a Crashing Foothills as Breach gets cast. And I'm going to pass over to you to talk through all the interactions that are about to happen.
Yeah, so the way I really like describing this combo is backwards. So let me start with the end goal. The end goal is to win with Grape Shot for storm damage or Thassa's Oracle when you have an empty library. Okay, so with that established, we have to work backwards on how to accomplish that. So what you do is with Grinding Station, you can mill yourself for 3, and Underworld Breach allows you to recast spells from the graveyard if you pay their cost and exile additionally 3 cards. Coincidentally, not really coincidentally, you escape with 3 cards and you mill for 3, which means you're even on cards in the graveyard. So what you do is you keep escaping zeros, which are 3 mana-wise and 3 card-wise, but you keep milling your library along the way. And so once you get to the empty library, Thassa's Oracle wins, or just the number of Mox Ambles cast plus Grape Shot is lethal. Now, you would need 6 mana to do it, right? Because 2 for Station, 2 for Breach, and 2 for Grapeshot or Oracle. So you usually do it by having a legend in play, something like Emery or Ragavan, and generate mana along the way with Moxamba. But now the combo is broken up hard.
I was just about to say, scrap everything you just said, because it doesn't matter. He had green card plus Force to ditch. He is empty-handed, though, but on the other side, Alan now is out of resources and has to kind of rebuild to either get the combo going again or to try and generate some sort of win. As Alan drops to 6, so he is on a 2-turn clock. Alex draws land for a turn, plays it.
To be fair, Jegantha just blocks everything in Alex's deck. So, like, the best thing would be like Saga, trigger, play Jegantha. That would be backbreaking.
That's the land. That's what you would call it. 3 mana.
Ending
this.
This is actually pretty interesting because typically Breach players do not side in Prismatic Ending against Rhinos. It might be just like a 1 copy.
So we're looking at a sideboard. We're seeing if we need to play this land or not. I think we've given away the body language that is just a land. Unfortunately, if Alan managed to get that read or not, maybe he was looking at his hand. We'll see.
I think Alex may have drawn a shock, and he's considering if he can afford shocking. But this game has been excellent. I mean, keeps you on your toes. Yes, let's go.
We're going to see big 5/5. Oh, no, we're going to breach.
Oh, so he just says, well, instead of having a Jeggy, I win.
So
And is that a 10-02 for Alan? Now, it's not obvious because when you have a the Thassa's Oracle finish, you usually just win when you just win. But with a Grape Shot, you have to actually count the number of cards you play because you might not get enough to actually Grape Shot your opponent to death. So I think Alan just kind of presumes he can, which is possible, but it might be also not the case.
I think he's counting the amount of cards and just working out how many he's actually played or not. So yeah, this is Storm Count 2 currently. And needs to be able to get 10 more spells cast, which looking at the size of his deck and stuff, I think he'll be able to get there. But how is he going to generate enough mana to do it? Talk people through that.
Right. So basically what you'll do is going to have to deploy a legend like Ragavan or Emery and then generate mana of Mox Amber that you're going to keep looping. Now, you do not have Mox Amber. That's not an issue because you will keep looping a different 0, for example, EE or Mishra's Bubble, at which point you will have milled at some point Mox Amber, and then you will switch from looping EE to looping Mox Amber, and you accomplish the same thing. Now there is only 1 mana left. Well, I'm not. It really depends on the cards in the graveyard because the mana might not be the bottleneck, but the cards in the graveyard might. But now he's looking for Moxamba because he wants to deploy Moxamba first and then play the legend, so you can immediately add mana.
Well, you say this. I've seen 3 Ragavans have been exiled so far. I'm not entirely sure if there's a 4th one or not, but he keeps putting Ragavan straight into in his exile spot. He's put 2 in there. I think 1 went in there earlier.
And this is another thing. When I play against Breach and I play against a Thassa's Oracle version, I usually scoop. But playing against Grape Shot, I usually make people play through it because there's so many moments you can choke, like the Ragavans. Sometimes you cannot generate red to play double Grape Shot, so you have to have Springleaf Drum in addition. It can get sticky sometimes. So I'm not faulting Alex for just trying to see the whole thing.
Also gives everybody at home and us, more interaction to actually watch Paper Magic, see how this goes. Because maybe you're going to play against this in your next tournament. Maybe you need to know how to play against this, know what key point to cast your endurance, to cast your force of vigors, etc. So it's good for everybody here. We're going to see Alan try and master his way through it. He's going to cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why one of the reasons that the Oracle version is better, let's say better, is that
did he whiff?
He whiffed and he accomplished like barely anything. But Alex has got only lands. So Alan has got EE plus Ragavan and Jegantha. So honestly, this might be enough despite that big blunder.
Another land on top. Not going to want that. So that's going to go. Are we hard casting a 5/5?
I think we're elking. So there is no Oko in the format, but we're elking.
Let's go. Come on. Got a hype train going in chat. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate it. Make sure you hit the follow button for those primes at the stream if you enjoy this sort of content, i.e. Magic paper coverage from all around America. Let's go. Big 5/5 coming down now. There it is. 5/5 elk. Any answers, Alex? No.
And actually, there is a lot of conversation in the community of Breach players, and yes, there is such a community of whether to play Jegantha at all, because when you play Jegantha, you cannot play Oracle, and people keep debating whether Jegantha is worth it. Like, when do you actually cast the 5/5? And from my experience, you cast it more often than you would expect, but not that often, which makes this whole conundrum quite difficult.
I think the live totals have not updated. I think Alex is at 9 after that fetch. I think he was at 12, took 2 from the Ragavan, took a fetch down to 9, which means there is a 2-turn clock over on Alan's side.
Yeah.
Alex needs a big draw here. Didn't get a good look. Passes the turn back.
So Alan had to shock in case Alex had like end-step violent outburst, which he didn't. I think there may have been a spell drawn for Alex, but
nope, that's a land for Alex. I mean for Alan, yeah. Alan's drawn Alex for a turn.
Alex has got caverns and gemstone caverns and something.
He's working out the math here. He's like, okay, if I attack with this, leave that back to block, do this, that, and the other. He's trying to work out a line of how he can win this game without losing this game, I believe. And sometimes people emphasize more on the not losing the game than actually being able to win the game aspect. Like if there's an outburst here. Oh, it was a mystical dispute that he drawn for a turn, I think.
Yep.
Another big draw.
And we continue playing.
3 mana. Oh no, was it an agent? It was an agent.
Oh, but it doesn't do anything in the face of EE. But what it does do is it blocks Ragavan or Gigantha. Because if Alex is at 7, and I think he's at 7, then Gigantha plus Ragavan is lethal. So you wipe out the Rhinos, but you can't still attack for lethal because there is a blocker in Shardless Agent. So technically, Alex could go like runner Cascade, which should be good enough. Sometimes in this matchup, you actually manually go through all of those Rhinos. You actually grind through all 4 copies.
I think he's actually at 4. I think Alex is at 4 life because he did take 5 last turn as well. I think just the life totals haven't been updated on Alex's side. I think he is at 4. So we blow EE, chump block, Ragavan connects, drops Alex down to 2. Let's see how he wants to go about it. Obviously, I'd probably use my treasure token to blow that EE though if I was going to do it.
Okay, Saga's never bad.
There's worse draws in his deck he could have got, correct? Let's see how we're going to go about this. Keep that hype train going, chat. We've got 2 minutes. Let's get to level 3. Let's go. Support this channel. If you like paper magic and coverage, make sure you use those primes if you've got them. Support this channel best you can. Tap in 2.
I mean, if Alex flips this around, is going. I mean, it's still the game is a nail biter. Absolute nail biter. So much interaction.
No, the cameras aren't on, but you can't see me. I'm actually sat on the edge of my seat right now. Like, wait, like, what does he need now? I think he needs another way to get those Rhinos going.
I mean, I literally. Oh.
No, it was the Rhinos, but not the way to get them on the battlefield.
Yeah, but the actual Rhinos and GG. Allen
big handshake there.
Oh my God, 10-0-2.
That's a good record, making them live to get into that top 12. That is, ladies and gentlemen, you heard me right. Top 12 is going to be here for this weekend. They're going to battle it out. If you haven't heard of how a top 12 works, basically seeds 1 to 4 are all going to get buys. Then seeds 5 to 12 will battle it out in one round, and the winners of those 4 games will then get to battle against the top 4 seeds.